Welcome everybody here tonight. Most of you guys have been here before, I think. Have you been to one, Heather? No?
Not here.
Okay.
Bala.
Bala hasn't been. Okay. You've never been here. And you guys haven't been here. Okay, so I'd like to say welcome to everybody. I'll just give a brief description of the what we're trying to do here. And you can go on the website and get more detailed information if you'd like. The website is loveandlightgathering.org, and you can find our sort of mission statement. You can find videos and audio of other presentations and talks. You can find links to other people and other websites, and you can find the schedule throughout the year. So right now we have gatherings scheduled once a month, or we sometimes have a couple things going on during a month, but we have stuff through December. And I started talking to people about next year. We're going to have a couple people from Pittsburgh come down and do a couple things. Miguel, who is a shaman in Pittsburgh, Mindy's working with, is going to come down and do a presentation sometime next year. But so what we are doing here is we are gathering together from various backgrounds. So we have people who are Christian, we have people who are Buddhist, who are Hindu, New Age, Native American spirituality, shamanism, just a whole wide range of backgrounds come together here in order to encourage each other and support each other in our various practices in order to unite with whatever aspect of the divine that we believe in. So our ultimate goal is the same, and that is to make connection with the divine presence, or the universal flow, or God, or Buddha, or whatever you call that. Our goal is to live in communion with that universal flow. And so we are here to support each other in our various backgrounds and practices in order to accomplish that goal. So you can, like I said, you can find more information on the website. And one other thing I'd like to say about the gathering is I believe that we are in a time of increased awareness and accelerated evolution, and that these types of groups are popping up all over the place. There is all sorts of stuff going on all over the place that is an indication that we are shifting, and that we need to come together and unite like this in order to help each other prepare for that next evolutionary step that we're going to take. So thanks for coming, and welcome. And so the way this is going to go tonight, it's going to look like a service, like a church type service. We'll have some readings, we'll have some music. Joanna Papilla is going to do a presentation on Raja Yoga, and she is going to be a very good friend of ours. I know already. As soon as I met her, I knew that she was part of this group. So she teaches children's yoga right now. And what's the name of the?
It's Starbright Yoga.
Starbright Yoga, and you can find that online. Is there a starbrightyoga.com or anything?
It's just Facebook right now.
Facebook, okay, so if you go on Facebook, type in Starbright Yoga. A lot of you guys already go, but if you are interested, you should check it out. It'll be very interesting to see if, I think our kids would love it. So hopefully you'll be seeing us down next time. Okay, so I'd like to start with we'll do the lighting of the candle, and we'll do an opening prayer or blessing. We'll say, may the universal flow come and allow us to be aware of its presence and our presence within that flow. May we open our minds and our hearts in order to unite with each other and to unite with that divine presence. May we support each other in our mission to become aware of that divine presence. Amen. Okay, if you want to sit down now. I decided that usually I write everything out. I write out the prayers, I write all the stuff out. Tonight, I'm winging it. I'm just gonna wing it for the most part. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. Now, I would like for us all to sort of center ourselves and tune into the same frequency, same vibration, in order to calm ourselves and to all come together. And we'll do that by sounding this bell. I'm going to do the first reading. The first reading is from a book, The Art and Science of Raja Yoga. Raja means royal yoga, and it involves many different, it involves philosophy, meditation, diet, breathing, routines, health, postures. So we'll hear more about that in a moment. So this is the first reading. We are encouraged also to view yoga's moral principles as directional, their perfection as the end, not the beginning of the journey. We can gain considerably in peace of mind and inner strength long before we actually perfect our attitudes. India's great scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, offers the comforting reassurance that even a little practice of this inward religion will save you from dire fears and colossal suffering.
Oh, what's the time now? Conjecture will be our word. This is the greatest conjecture for the world's miniature. Has lost its compaction, sin has gone beyond measure. For man is wrapped in leisure, thinking it gives pleasure. Man's blind imitation has led to a lamentation. We desperately need an injection if we hope for a new jubilation. This is no other than a moralization. Man unsatisfied appetite for material plenty, thinking that it gives him social dignity, has killed his sense of spirituality and destroyed his nature of morality, yet is never satisfied in satiety. Our selfish interpretations has caused religious pollution. We applaud our falsifications in our divided congregations and think it's a fascination, not knowing it's a religious assassination. and man frankly, but man cannot doubt God truly. What shall it profit a man if he gains the world and loses his soul?
So the second reading. The world in which you live is your own creation. Just like the spider creates its web out of itself, and then is caught in the web and cannot leave. You project your world out of your own mind. You project thoughts of desires. That's how you create the web, and then you are caught in it. Somebody is caught in the desire for money. Somebody is caught in the desire for power. Somebody is caught in the desire for reunification. Somebody is caught in the desire for paradise. All desires. A real man of understanding has no desire. He lives in the moment of whatever is available. He enjoys it to its totality. He squeezes each moment, he drinks each moment, and he eats whatever is available. He sleeps, but he is total in whatsoever he is doing.
All right, thanks, Carrie. Poor Carrie. Our printer's broken, and when I'm in a hurry, I write like a crazy person, like words just kind of mesh into each other. So that was awesome that you were able to actually read this. Nothing like throwing it at you at the last minute. Okay, so now we'll have Jomanna come up and do her presentation on Raja Yoga.
Bigger group back here. I didn't see anything. I'm sitting over here. It's like 3 people in there when I was over here. Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Matt, for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here, and it was so exciting to me when I first met him that there's something so spiritually unifying going on in this area. It's been a long time coming, I think, and I've really been looking for something like this myself for a long time. So it was just kind of out of the blue, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, so it was great. And so thanks for inviting me in and having me here. So yes, I'm Jomanna. I go by Jo as well, if that's easier to remember. And I am a certified yoga teacher. I was certified in 2011 from Aura Wellness Center in Massachusetts. But then I sort of honed in my teachings to teaching children. So I started going to Child Light Yoga certification programs and started teaching yoga for kids. And so this is a little different for me. You know, I almost wanted to bring my pinwheels and Legos and things, but I'm trying to, how am I going to, right. Everything is so simplified for kids, and so now I'm thinking, how am I going to add substance to a yoga instruction for adults? So we'll just kind of go with me here, and we'll figure it out as we go. But I love teaching kids. they're so wide open to all of those ideas. It's been my passion for a long time, and it's a lot of fun. So, but we'll switch gears and we'll try to do things in a more grown-up way. So I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about Raja Yoga, or Raj Yoga. I've heard it pronounced different ways. Just a show of hands real quick, how many actually practice yoga? Do you have a yoga practice of your own? A few people? Okay. So this won't be completely new for everyone. I think one of the things when I think about yoga is, we all tend to go to yoga for different reasons. Some of us, it's for a physical problem like stiffness or joint pain, or we're trying to fix something with yoga, or we have emotional issues that we go to yoga for, depression, anxiety, trying to get those things under control. But there's something, even when those issues are resolved, there's something that keeps bringing us back. Usually once you start a yoga practice, there's something that just brings you back to your mat, and you just, you think about, well, what is that? It's that mysterious sort of thing inside of ourselves that we touch, and that we become something different when we're on our mat, and that's what keeps bringing us back. So when you think about that and you try to analyze what could that be, and I think it's something like what you were saying about that universal flow. You just sort of touch that, and for that moment, you're in this moment right now. And you're one with your body, you're one with your mind and your spirit, and that is so powerful and transcendent, and it's what pulls us in. So that is why we keep coming back to yoga. And to remember that, we are divine beings. I think so many times we think of ourselves as humans kind of seeking a spiritual experience, when really what we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And tapping into that is the key to what keeps us on our mats and keeps us practicing. So Raja Yoga is actually one of 4 types of yoga. 4 paths of yoga, I should say, in the yogic philosophy. There's Bhakti Yoga as well, which is the yoga of love and compassion. There is Karmic Yoga, which is the yoga of action, of service to others. There's, what's the other one? Oh, Jnana Yoga, which is the yoga of wisdom and contemplation. In fact, the quintessential yoga posture you always see, the thumb and the forefinger, that is Jnana Mudra, and that's a gesture of wisdom. So that comes from the practice of Jnana Yoga. So what I'd like to talk about too is just the meaning of Raja Yoga, which is, it comes from the Sanskrit word meaning royal. I think you mentioned that, royal yoga. And so I make the analogy of the king being, sort of your mind being the king that is sort of ruling over the body, the kingdom of the body. And to do that, Raja Yoga focuses on meditation, and it focuses on using kind of the control and the management of our thoughts as a way to bring our bodies to center and find a place of stillness and peace in the present moment right now. So if the goal, and another thing I was thinking too is I think of it as the king as being a spiritual warrior, sort of, with the goal of bringing our mind to a state of purity, and in doing that, the true divine self will be able to shine forth. So it makes me think of a story that I read once about this woman who is in the mountains, and she's walking along and she finds this beautiful stream, and she looks into the stream and there's this shining gemstone, valuable, shining, precious gemstone. And so she reaches into the stream and she reverently tucks it into her bag and carries it along with her. And the next day she runs into a traveler who's hungry and he's asking for food. So she opens her pack to offer him some food, and he sees this beautiful gemstone just shining out. And he knows, this thing is so valuable. I mean, not only would I have food for myself today, but security for the rest of my life. How can I get this? So he asks her, will you give me this instead of food? Can I have the stone? And she, without hesitation, reaches in and gives him the stone. And he walks away. And she goes about her way. And the next day, the traveler's thinking and thinking and thinking in his mind. He really realizes now that he needs to seek this woman back out, because there's something about her that, without hesitation, she reached into her bag and gave him something of so much value that for him, learning what secrets she had that gave her the power to be able to give that up so freely, there was something more valuable in that. So he sought her out, he went back, found her, gave her back the stone and said, I want you to teach me those secrets. What is that allows you to do that? And so that, I think, is when I think of that pure divine self that we seek in Raja Yoga through meditation and contemplation, that is who we aspire to be, that woman, right? who is just so willing to just give so freely of things and be disattached and disassociated from all things that are physical. So I think with Raja Yoga being a form of meditation, there's a way of controlling, I don't want to say controlling, but there's just a way of managing the kinds of thoughts that we have, because there's another word in Sanskrit that it's called samskara, and basically what that means is that flow of thoughts that we have, and every thought that we have forms an impression. It's like the neural pathways, they say you develop those thought patterns and they just sort of carve a path that it becomes difficult to break. It's just like when you think of a river or a flow of water, as it flows over the land, it starts carving a path, and that path becomes deeper and deeper, and it becomes more difficult for the water to find a different way. And so that's what happens with our thinking. And in Raja Yoga, one of the ways that we focus on avoiding that repetition is through conscious meditation. And meditation seems intimidating, I think, to a lot of people, because you have this idea of those, ascetic yogis who are sitting in double lotus pose for hours on end, and they're not eating, and they're not having any thoughts, and they're melting the snow around them, and we don't have to do that. We can meditate while we're walking. There is such a thing as walking meditation, and that literally is just keeping the focus of one foot in front of the other. And so you're not emptying the mind of thoughts. I mean, the purpose of the mind is to have thoughts. So I don't think you can really turn that off. I mean, that's the whole reason we have a mind, is to process these things and think. So you can't really just shut it off. But what you can do is focus it. And so to begin with a walking meditation or something where you're just mindful of the experience of moving that one foot in front of the other, it's a good way to start. And it's the same with yoga. I think that's what yoga does for us as well. It aligns the thinking with the breath and the focus, and gives us a physical way of managing the thoughts that come into and out of our minds, and breaking those patterns that we tend to build. So I was going to talk a little bit about Patanjali's Eightfold Path, because that's an important aspect of all yoga paths. But instead, I remembered reading about a spiritual guru who talked about the different powers that you can achieve. There are 8 powers that you can achieve through Raja Yoga, through meditation. And I thought, this is actually very pertinent, and it's something you can take with you in your daily lives. And I thought, well, this would be interesting to talk about instead. So I changed it up a little bit. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the 8 powers that she discussed as being part of Raja Yoga. And the first is the power to withdraw. And I'm going to actually back up a little bit. When I say power, I think we tend to misinterpret that word. Power isn't necessarily that we have power of influence over people, or that we have a high position in the world, or that we have lots of education, or that we can, control things. And so we have to avoid how we interpret power. Power is really just about understanding yourself fully and interacting with other people, understanding where they are in relation to you and to the world, and then treating that in the right way. And doing it with love and compassion. So that's the kind of power we're referring to when we talk about that. So the power to withdraw, she says. We come into actions and interactions with people on a daily basis. And I always joke about this because it's so easy when I'm at home and it's 5 in the morning and it's dark and quiet, and I'm connecting with my spiritual inner wisdom and the divine around me, and then I go to work. And I'm like, I'm so at one with everything until I get there. And then you have to deal with other people, right? And sometimes other people aren't as spiritual, and that becomes a challenge. So even the most spiritual of us, when you're interacting with people on a daily basis and things are being thrown at you every day, every minute, it's hard to keep that and maintain that sort of spiritual oneness that you feel. So, instead of feeling turbulent all the time, what she's referring to is returning to that solitude and making it a point to wind down from those emotional sort of sticky messes that we get ourselves into on a daily basis, the daily frustrations, I should say. And we need to learn how to kind of conserve and contain that, and it's important that we do that every day through meditation or yoga or any other way, really, that you can center yourself there. She says the second is the power to pack up. And what she means by that is to travel lightly through life. Don't carry all of this stuff with you. And sometimes we forget that. We forget to be right now in this moment. And I think that's why yoga is so important too, because there's nowhere else to be. When you're doing yoga, you're in your body, and that's it. So she says carry only what you need for now. And that's something else to remind yourself every day. only carry what I need in this moment. The third is the power to tolerate, and basically that she's just meaning to be accepting of how other people are, not allowing yourself to really be influenced by them. And Deepak Chopra, one of my favorite quotes that he always said was, you know, I am immune to criticism, and I'm also immune to flattery. And that means no matter what good or bad people give you, don't allow it to influence you, and just tolerate, you know, the sort of ideas and opinions of others without taking it on. Being in the world, but not, or being, what do they say, being in the world, but not of it, right? The fourth is the power to accommodate, which is just about flexibility. And the example that she gave was the example of the ocean. We throw so much rubbish into the ocean, and then what does it do? It sort of spits it out either on its waves, you know, waves bring it right to shore and gets rid of it, or it buries it very deeply, and that we never see it again. And that's what she's saying is make our hearts so big, like the ocean, that whatever people give us, good or bad, we either use what we need, we take what we need from that, and then bury the rest. And in a way to do that is just by learning how to release it. And again, that comes through meditation and through yoga practice. The fifth is the power to discern. And that's just basically discerning the intentions and the motives of other people around us and dealing with that in the right way. And in order to do that, we have to release our preconceived notions about the motivations of others and even the stories that we tell ourselves. We do this all the time. We tell ourselves stories that aren't true all the time. One of the examples I remember reading in a book one time, there was a minister and his wife, and his wife would always sit in the congregation, and he would, you know, be speaking at the front of the church, and anytime they would start to offer the offering, you know, and people would be contributing to the church and giving donations and things. His wife would get up and she would leave. And there was another woman in the congregation who told herself a story about why this was happening. Like, why every time we do the offering does she leave the room? And she's like, well, maybe it's because she feels awkward about it, because people are giving money, and, you know, it doesn't seem right to her that they're giving money to the church, and, you know, maybe she's just had all these ideas about why this was happening. And she sort of, it just puzzled her, and it bothered her, I guess. And so she finally went up to the minister, and she said to him, you know, why does your wife always leave during the offering? Is it because of this and this and this and this? And the minister said, no, she's teaching another class on the other side of the hallway. You know, and so it's that thing that we do sometimes. We're not always right in the stories that we tell ourselves. So the power to discern is asking yourself during meditation, is what I'm thinking actually correct? And just trying to be aware of that. The sixth power is, and I did say 5 the last time, right? Yeah. The sixth power, she says, is the power to judge. And this is not being judgmental, but this is just judging and understanding, again, people in their journey and discriminating between what is artificial and what is real. Kind of the same thing that we just talked about. The power to face or cope is the 7th. And that's kind of whatever situation we come across, being mindful enough to have the ability to understand that this is reality and to cope with it. Eckhart Tolle, I don't know if any of you have ever followed him, but he says that we tend to complain a lot of times instead of being in a state of acceptance. And it's just one of those things, like, it's just reality. We're always at odds with reality. And if someone asked you, you know, well, what do you think of reality? Well, I'm totally against it, you know. And that's just, I mean, it's kind of silly to think about it that way. You can't be against what is real. It's just what it is. So you have to learn to sort of flow with it. And, you know, that's, again, another power of being in a state of acceptance and not resistance to everything that's around us. And finally, the power of understanding the self and being free of the limitations of the physical. So obviously we are what we think we are. Thoughts are things. And we tend to put up barriers of age and culture and profession, and it's just something that I think by nature in a culture and society that we live in that we want to do. So separating ourselves from that physical world and taking ourselves into a sort of metaphysical room of light where we can reconnect and re-energize ourselves with the divine is kind of what she's saying that meditation and yoga together can bring us. So that's really what I had planned to say about Raja Yoga, unless anyone has any questions about that. Anyone? No? Okay. I thought maybe I would just move into some posturing. Maybe we could do some asanas together. And I chose to do the warrior sequence because to me, the warrior, again, with that it goes along with the idea of the king and the kingdom and being a spiritual warrior and sort of identifying with strength and humility. And so I thought maybe we could work through some of that. Is that good? Okay. And I guess we're going to be tight, but we could probably, everybody could stand up and do some of this. Yeah, actually, that might be a good idea. Thank you. So the warrior sequence, I'm kind of I'll go through each step and I'll show you the different postures, and then I thought what we would do, I'm not really going to guide you through the vinyasa, which is just sort of a flow of the postures. We'll learn them each individually and then we'll do a flow. And I really want everyone to sort of feel it for themselves. I don't want to talk too much because that's kind of the goal, is aligning your own breathing, whatever feels comfortable to you, with your body and your posturing and your state of being at the time. So I'll show you the postures and then we'll do a flow through the postures. I will start the music though, because I like the music. I guess I should ask too, does anyone have any knee problems, hip problems? If you have knee or hip problems, there are modifications that you can do, or if you want to just sit it out, you feel better doing that, that's fine. That's fine, yeah. Okay, so we're going to begin with Warrior 1, also called Virabhadrasana, is the Sanskrit name of the pose. And we'll spread our legs maybe 3 to 4 feet. Whatever's comfortable for you really is fine. And we'll begin with the right foot. You want to turn it 90 degrees out. And then your rear foot should be about 45 to 60. Typically, we keep the rear, or the heel of the right foot aligned with the center of the left foot. But if you find that you have trouble supporting yourself like this, you can always move this foot out a little further and give yourself a wider base. So the idea is in Warrior 1 to kind of pretend like you have headlights on your hips, and we're going to turn and shine the headlights over the forward leg. And if you find that you have tightness, doing that, you can't really invite that left hip up further, again, you can widen your base a little and see if that helps. But just adjust however is possible for you, whatever feels good. So in Warrior 1, as we're facing, and you can also, just a modification at home if you want to try this, you can lift that back heel, and that will give you some more flexibility as well. You can put a blanket or some kind of a mat or something underneath of there to support you. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend this knee into our warrior posture. The knee has a tendency to want to roll forward or back, so you just want to be mindful that your knee is over your ankle, and you don't want to come too far forward either because you don't want to overextend. So just keep the knee over the ankle, and try to be mindful of whether or not you're moving a little forward or backward. And then we're going to bring our hands over our head. And here is where we don't want to crowd. We don't want to crowd our neck and our ears. So you want to kind of think about your shoulder blades sort of moving down your back and your shoulders sort of dropping and giving yourself some space. And now to move to Warrior 2, we'll bring our arms down in front of us and then pretend like you have a bow and arrow and you're bringing back the bow. And as you do that, you'll notice that your hips sort of adjust and they move forward. You actually may be twisting the wrong way. See if you can twist the other way. There you go. Is that easier? That's probably easier. Are you? Yep. If you actually face the other direction, there you go. That'll be easier. Yeah. So this is Warrior 2. I usually keep my palms down in Warrior 2, and I kind of look over the front fingers and over the back fingers to make sure my arms are aligned with my shoulders. And then we're going to do a reverse of this. And just as far as you can go. Always listen to your body. If you can't do it, if you can't, don't do it. It should feel nice. It shouldn't hurt. So we're going to drop the arm down the back leg. Down the back leg. There you go. Bring the other one over your head. And you'll see, you feel like a nice counter stretch there. Then we're going to come back down to a side stretch. just leave your elbow on your knee, your front knee there. You can leave one arm up, or if you feel comfortable, you can bring it all the way over your head. And then we'll come back up. Hands in prayer position. And then we'll flip and do it to the other side. So we'll practice on the other side, and then we'll start the vinyasa. So now, we're just going to switch the feet. Left foot this time is 90 degrees. Right foot is 45 to 60 degrees. And this time we'll start with Warrior 2, and I'll show you a different way of getting into Warrior 1, maybe easier. You're going to bend that knee again. So bend the forward knee. We're going to circle the arm up. Front arm? Yeah. Yep, and just bring it up over your head. So that kind of moves those hips again, like the headlights shining over your knee.
From the opposite direction?
You'll be facing the opposite direction. Yep. And then to move into Warrior 2 again, bring your hands down, pull back the bow. We'll reverse it. And then a side stretch. Back up again. Okay, very good. All right. So, would you like to try the vinyasa now? We'll do it very quietly. You can breathe at your own pace, move at your own pace. Just let yourself feel the music. And we'll start. You can follow me or do whatever it is that you would like to do what feels good for you. So stretch out again, 3 to 4 feet. We'll set up our posture. Secret yoga code word that I always tell the kids. Namaste. Thank you. Namaste. It's Sanskrit. It means the light in me, the light and divine in me honors and recognizes the light and divinity.
Okay. Man, that was great. Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
A lot of powerful energy and they were doing it in unison at the same time with a lot of energy
Yeah.
generated.
Yeah, I felt that too. That was powerful. That was powerful. That was great. And your words are, they were words of wisdom, were very timely. They're definitely messages for me in that presentation, so I appreciate it greatly. just have a couple more things, and then we'll just hang out and have some snacks, drink some tea or water or whatever. The next thing I wanted to do, which kind of goes along the same lines as the message that Joanna just gave us, along the same lines as the message, is I wanted to just do sort of I'm going to play the next song, and during the next song I thought we could just do some quiet reflection, or if you want to just do some meditation or whatever you feel like doing. And we'll just sort of settle ourselves down a little bit and just reflect on everything that's happening here, or that's been happening, or you can just let go of everything and just relax into a state of non-thinking. I'll talk us through a couple breathing exercises to get us going, and then we'll just sit quietly for a few minutes.
महाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव शुभकार्येषु सर्वदा श्रीवक्रतुण्ड महाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव शुभकार्येषु सर्वदा श्रीवक्रतुण्ड महाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव शुभकार्येषु सर्वदा श्रीवक्रतुण्ड महाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव शुभकार्येषु सर्वदा। या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रान्विता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना
going to tell people there's a little prayer room that we've set up back here in this back room, and there's a basket on the altar that we have there. If anybody would like to I'm going to find some paper and put a pen out there. If anybody would like to write anything in there and put it in the basket, whether it's a blessing or a prayer request or anything like that, I'm going to try to spend I've been trying to do like a monastic prayer routine with Catholic prayer times and things like that, and I'm going to so I'll do the blessings or the prayer requests during those, if anybody would like to put those in that basket. There's something else. I can't think now that we did that meditation. I can't think of anything. There's something else we needed to do, but what the heck was it? Oh! I get so relaxed listening to that music, I'm having a hard time thinking. The next gathering is, do you know what the date of it is? August 17th. The next gathering will be here on August 17th. It will be Jess Peterson, who is a holistic health coach from Pittsburgh. She's going to come down and she's going to talk about nutrition and cleansing the body of poisons and things like that. And she's very good, and she's just unbelievable. She's really helped Jenny and I get on track as far as trying to cleanse our bodies from the poisons that we used to put into them on a daily basis. So she's just unbelievable. So come out for that, please, if you'd like. And there's also all kinds of other things going on. You just have to get on the website and check them out. Some really cool stuff. Today was great, though, Jenna. You did wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. And so now I'll do like a final blessing, and then oh yes.
2 weeks.
Oh yes, in 2 weeks, say the name of the Buddhist. There's Buddhist meditation every 2 weeks, and it's called the
Flowing River Valley.
what?
Sangha.
That's the word I can never say. Sangha. Flowing River Valley Sangha. I always say Shanga for some reason. Flowing River Valley Sangha. The Bennett's have organized a Buddhist meditation every 2 weeks up at their house in Colliers, West Virginia. What is it? It's not every 2 weeks. It's
First and third Friday.
First and third Friday.
Yep.
So, but if you get on our website, you can find a link to their website, and it's a wonderful experience. There was one last night, and it's beautiful. I mean, they're doing really wonderful work and teaching mindfulness and all sorts of things. Also, the Martins, who are not here tonight, they have an organization called, does anybody remember
One
that?
World, One Family.
Thank you. One World, One Family. I'm telling you, my mind is like, One World, One Family, and they are doing all sorts of things with this organization. It's a non-profit organization, and they do, they've had some gathering type things where we talked about how to grow our own food or gardens in a organic manner and a spiritual manner, and we just had one where Robert does pottery, where we made pottery to use as bowls and cups to present our food on the altar, like an offering vessel for the altars to. So we go out and we pick the food from the garden, come in, present part of it on the altar, back to the divine from which it came, and then we participate in this. What do they call the food that once it's been offered to the
Harvest?
Prasadam? It's like from the Krishna tradition. So it's very moving, very spiritual. But they're doing wonderful things too. You can find a link to them on the website as well. There is a Tuesday night meditation on the island at the Way Memorial Spiritualist Church. It's a sort of a mediumship development, but it also goes much farther than that, it goes beyond that. So if you're interested in mediumship, or if you're interested in spiritualism or anything like that, you can talk to Mick more in detail after we're done about what that exactly means, if he's going to stick around. but they have a Tuesday night meditation that sounds like it's wonderful. It sounds like it's just a powerful experience. And then I just did a bunch of Reiki attunements on 3 or 4 people. So we're doing Reiki attunements, we're doing healing days. You just have to look on the website. We're doing other meditations. And then Mindy, who's a great, who's training to become a shaman herself, is a great graphic designer, and she just designed, we started a group called the Secular Franciscans of the New Age, where it's sort of a secular religious order that Jenny and I are working on, and she just did our logos, and they look really cool. But the spirit of the order is intimacy with the divine, love for all creation, service towards all, and simplistic living. So if anybody's interested in that, you can talk to me about that afterwards. So, any other things going on spiritually in the area that I missed? The temple always has stuff going on. I'm going to put a link up to that, or that kind of stuff. I'll put a link to your Facebook up soon. So I'll do a lot of changing around of the website in the next couple of days, so please check it soon. And I'll put out reminders to everybody on Facebook.
Also, Matt finally got together with Mary Ellen, and starting in August, we'll have a space there for Akinak, which is a type of holistic healthcare based, rooted in Chinese medicine.
Awesome.
So that's exciting, and I'm hoping to have an open day or an information, evening
Okay,
coming up in
wonderful.
August. Yes.
Where?
Yeah. It's at the Phillips McClure House. It's on the island, not far from the bottom of the suspension bridge.
Yeah, we used to go there. We used to have our meditations there.
The green room upstairs.
And I used to have a room in that same, or I had a Reiki room in that same room, right next door to your room. There was one other thing I felt of. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of movement, a lot of coming together of people. So hopefully that will continue.
On a side note, I was really hesitant to bring the 2-year-old
Mm-hmm.
because he came to us at like 18 months
Mm-hmm.
and very nervous energy, stressful energy.
Mhm.
Cannot take the quiet yells. Very, he's calm. A new child now. He's almost 2.5.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I can take him anywhere, to someone's house or public, where he may last
Yeah.
at bedtime, he would be at bed, it would be here. Quiet play. This is the
That's
longest
great.
this child has ever been happy, quietly playing,
That's
without
awesome.
just suddenly having to have a voice screaming and making sure everyone knows he's there and that he's not forgotten and not
Wow.
left. And, I thought, this is the first that
That's
you
awesome.
see he checks in and he goes back
It
like
goes back.
you would expect a child to, but
Oh,
it's
that's
amazing.
cool.
He's so calm.
Well, that's great.
Nice.
That's great.
Living.
That's awesome. Okay. I'm going to do the final blessing. I have I just finished reading a book that is unbelievable. And I'm going to, it's called The Gentle Art of Blessing. And the basic idea behind this book is that when we begin to bless everyone and everything in our lives mentally throughout the course of our day, our entire lives change forever. And this book has blown me away. There's one part of the book that I'll copy and put up for people on the website and things that the author encourages people to take a look at and spread. And this gentleman from France who lives in Switzerland wrote this book, and he spread this concept throughout Africa. He works in various places in Africa, and then it started to spread throughout the world. But the book is just amazing. So he encourages us to, when we are confronted with people or situations that are making us feel resistance or feel anxious, instead of putting out that energy of resistance or that negative energy, we bless the person or the situation that's creating the problem, and that puts out an energy, a positive energy that completely changes everything around us. And so the idea is to do this every single day, constantly throughout your entire day. So I'm going to try to start working that into my practice, and I'll put it up for everybody else in case anybody's interested in that. So finally, we'll do the blessing. I'm going to use a blessing that I've probably used here before and that I use for weddings a lot. The blessing is, may the blessing of light be with you always, light without and light within. And may the sun shine upon you and warm your hearts until they glow like a great fire, so that others may feel the warmth of your love. And may that love spread to the rest of us. May it warm our hearts, and may we take that love and share it with everyone we meet so that it spreads throughout the world. Okay, thank you for coming, everybody. Namaste. And please hang out. We'll have tea, we'll have snacks. I'll put music on, and we'll party. We'll get crazy.